Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Phil and this is Roman Technology, where we go over the latest and greatest electronics, as well as all the accessories needed to get the most out of them. In this video, we're going to be talking about a phone. Now, we all know what phone everyone's talking about, but what about the phone no one's talking about? Today I'm going to be taking a look at what I think is the best phone that no one is talking about right now, and that is the Xiaomi Mi Mix 2. So, for those who may not know, this is the second iteration of the Mi Mix line from Chinese phone manufacturer XIAOMI. The original Mi Mix was known for being bezel-less and just looking absolutely stunning. With this one, however, they wanted something that was a little bit more palatable. So it's a little bit smaller in the hand, it has a little bit more, I don't know, mainstream types of features. So we're going to get right into it. So taking a look around the box, on the front here you just have Mix. It's really nice and simple here and looks quite nice. The sides are pretty much bare except for some stocking information. And on the back, it's also pretty bare except for some interesting Chinese writing here. And that's going to be the theme of this video. Phil doesn't know Chinese, but it does say Mix 2 down here, as well as it gives you a look at some of the specs. We have 6 GB of RAM and 128 GB of internal storage. Now, there is a Pro version of the Mi Mix 2 that has 8 GB of RAM and is only available in 128 gigs. This 6 GB of RAM version is available in 64, 128, and 256 gig variants. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at what comes inside. So the first thing we're greeted with is just some things that I can't read. That's, like I said, that's mainly going to be what this is about, guys. No idea, none whatsoever. In the box, we have the Mi Mix 2 itself. And I'm going to go ahead and put this alongside for a moment. We have the mobile manual, which is the first bit of English that I've seen so far in here. I take that back. It does say NFC right there. I know what that means. Taking a look at this mobile manual, it pretty much tells you nothing. Just gonna throw that out there. Also included in the box, we have our wall adapter, as well as our USB-C cable. That's right, guys, this phone does charge via USB-C, which is awesome. I think everything nowadays needs to switch over to that. I'm looking at you guys. But anyway, let's put all of this aside and take a look at the main event here. So here is the Mi Mix 2. Now, first impressions, this thing feels nice and solid in the hand. It's heavy. It is extremely heavy, and that has a lot to do with this back here. It is a ceramic back. The non-Pro version has aluminum around the outside, but like I said, there is a Pro version out there that has ceramic all the way around, and it looks really cool. So another thing that I can tell you right now is this thing looks like an absolute fingerprint magnet. That's something that we're definitely, I'm definitely not the biggest fan of, but we're just gonna have to see how that comes out in everyday use. So going around the device, on the back here, we have our camera. It's a 12 megapixel camera. Right underneath that, we have our fingerprint sensor, which I hear is one of the fastest out there. And then of course we have our flash here along the side. On the other side here, we have the display. Now this is a 5.99 inch 1080p display. So it should look pretty good. We're gonna of course take a look at that. The 6-inch form factor I feel works really well for this device. I don't remember the exact specs of the original, but I know the screen was a bit larger and it was a bit wider. This has a different aspect ratio that we're seeing with a lot more devices these days. On the right hand side of the device, we have our volume rocker as well as our power button. On the left hand side of the device, all we have is our SIM card tray. On the top, it looks like we have a microphone and some antenna bands. And on the bottom, we have our USB-C port. So no headphone jack for those who really care about that. Let's go ahead and power this thing on and see what we got. So before we go any further, let's compare this thing to a few other devices we may be a little bit more familiar with. We're gonna start off with the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus here, and side by side we'll get an idea of the size difference. Now the S8 Plus does have a slightly larger display, so the body of it is a little bit longer, but ultimately they're very similar in size, surprisingly. Compared to something like the iPhone X, I'm not just gonna have that in the side of the video and not say anything about it. It's a much larger phone, got kind of the same amount of difference in the other direction, so think of it as the perfect midpoint in size between the iPhone X and the Galaxy S8 Plus. Now, like I already said, this is a 5.99-inch full 1080p display. It is an IPS panel, and it gives for about an 80.8% screen-to-body ratio. And just looking at this thing, it looks beautiful. Now, this does have MIUI 9 on it from the factory, which is one of those ROMs that not a lot of people are familiar with, so, you know, a lot of people will be changing that, but honestly, I don't think it is too bad at all. Now, this does ship out running Android version 7.1.1, not quite sure if you can see that there. Now, this device weighs in at about 185 grams, so when I picked it up for the first time, you'll notice I felt it was pretty hefty, and it's the same kind of feeling I got the first time I picked up the iPhone X, where it just kind of seemed surprisingly hefty because of the materials that were inside of the device. And for all you spec junkies out there who really care about this kind of thing, this is running a Snapdragon 835 with an Adreno 540 GPU. Now, for those people who care about battery life is pretty important. This is rocking a 3400 milliamp hour battery, which is overwhelmingly average, but by having a 1080p display, I don't think you'd have a problem making it a full day on a charge. The fingerprint scanner on this thing is supposed to be one of the fastest on the market, so let's actually put that to the test, and we're gonna go ahead and hit it. Wow, that felt quicker than Touch ID did. Wow, yeah, that's insanely quick. That's definitely faster than Touch ID was on the iPhone 8 Plus that I unboxed. If you haven't seen that video, I'll have a link somewhere probably up there near my iPhone X. Do you guys want to see content on that? Maybe not. Nobody cares about that. As with all of my phone reviews, we're going to go ahead and run a Geekbench on this thing. So let's just go ahead and run this benchmark here and see what kind of scores we can get. Now, the Geekbench has finished running, and you can see we've got a pretty decent score here, with a single core score of 1924 and a multi-core of 6,662. Now, in my opinion, this device does have what it takes to go head-to-head with some flagships out there. It has a really nice IPS display. We've got Gorilla Glass 4. We have a 12 megapixel camera on the rear with a two-tone LED flash that does take 4K video and has optical image stabilization. We have a 5 megapixel front-facing camera that does 1080p video. We've got Bluetooth 5.0, dual band Wi-Fi, all of that great stuff, USB-C charging, and Quick Charge 3.0. So, if you can get past the fact that this ceramic is going to be an absolute fingerprint magnet, maybe with a nice case or something, but I would hate to cover up all of this beauty, this could very well be the phone for you. So if you're interested in picking up one of these for yourself, you can go ahead and hit up that video description. I'll have links and all the kind of stuff that you need to bring home one of these babies. So that's been my quick little overview and unboxing of the Xiaomi Mi Mix 2, which is, in my opinion, one of the best devices that no one is talking about. If you'd like me to make videos about the phone that everyone's talking about, let me know by smashing that like button down below and leaving it in the comments. If you're new around here, please do consider subscribing, as well as hitting that little notification bell for whenever I make videos, so you guys know all about them. So as always, thank you for watching. This has been Roman Technology. I've been Phil Begno, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.